Hey, hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to like everybody, not everyone. I don't even know what I'm saying after. In this video, let's delete that. Nah, that's fine. It's fine. In this video, we're taking a look at some new games, and in this video, look. We're taking a look at some games you can start your collection with. Will definitely round out your board gaming experience, or whatever. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to The Missing Component, a new board game channel where we highlight the wonderful people of our board game community and the awesome games that bring us together. My name is Richard, and in this video, we're taking a look at some games to start a collection with. That's right, we're looking at some newbie-friendly games. Let's say you're just getting into the hobby and you're looking to expand that one or two games that you have sitting on the shelf over there. Or maybe you have a gamer friend or family member who you're looking to purchase a gift for and you're not sure. So stick around because I got you covered. I have 11, 11 total games that you can add to your list. This is definitely not a list, not your common average list. Like it's not going to have Catan or Pandemic. I'm definitely thinking a little bit more outside the box. These are not games that I don't think you can buy these at Target. Maybe there's like maybe 2 or 3 different games that you can buy at Target, but you're going to have to go on either Amazon or finding a board game store, which I will leave a link in the description for each one of these if I can find it. But that's the idea. Also, if you're not familiar, there's different genres. So obviously with board games, there's so many different games. There's different genres of games. Just like movies have action, comedy, romance. It's the same similar concept. Games have genres. They have, depending on the player count or game length or theme, etc., you might get a different game for a different situation. And so maybe you have like 6 people that are wanting to play a game. You're going to need a 6-player game. And that's a unique thing for games, is that most of them are 4 players, whereas 6 players are harder to find. And so I have a little something for everyone. You're probably not going to want all of these games, especially if I love card games. Well, I got a card game on this list, but you might not be that interested in the puzzler game that I have. Oh, also, on top of that, these are also games that the rule book is around 10 or less pages. That to me tells me that that game is easier to learn. These games here will definitely be on the easier side of all the different genres. So, also, they are pretty much available. They're readily available versus, these unique, hard to find games. I'd rather have these games easier to find so that you can purchase them today. They are also, I think they're all $50 or less, which is really helpful if you're starting out a collection, because once you have a collection, you're going to realize they get pretty expensive really fast. All right. So my number one, and this isn't a list where number one is any better than number 10. These are all just different games that you can add to your collection. My number one is a puzzler game. And I call this a puzzler because this is just my term that I use when there's a game that you're having to think about how to position certain things. This will be explained a lot better if I just tell you the game. This game is called Framework, and a friend brings this all the time. And this is another thing about these games, is that even though they're beginner friendly, I'm still drawn into these games. That they play less than 30 minutes. I mean, this game here, you're handed a bag of your colored pieces and then a bag of tiles, and you just draw the tiles out for each player plus one, and then you just start playing. It's that simple, the setup, and yeah, you just go at it. So in this game, the active player pulls out tiles. There's going to be tiles for each player plus one. And so the active player will actually take 2 tiles, and you'll go around the table, and each player gets one of the tiles from that center, taking them one at a time. And this is considered a draft. And so you draft a tile to your player area, and you have to connect it somewhere to the rest of your tiles. So if it's your first piece, you're just going to place it in front of you. The second piece has to go adjacent to that one. And what you're trying to do is fulfill these contracts, essentially. They have little numbers on a different color. And so if it has like a 5 yellow, then you're trying to connect 5 yellow frames adjacent orthogonally to that piece. And once you do, you take one of your colored pieces, place it on that 5, and that is a fulfilled contract. And I think you have like 20 pieces in front of you, so you need to get all of them out to win the game. And so everyone's trying to take each other's pieces to try to hate draft and be mean, but it's really hard to be mean because there's so many different good tiles out there. Yeah, so this is a game where it's super easy to set up, not that many rules, and yeah, you can play this for a while, like before you get bored of it. So that's my puzzler game framework. The next game that I have on this list is a game for 6 players. Do I have another game? There's more games for 6 and more players, but this one specifically is called Seven Wonders Architects. Now, this is a game that you can add to your collection. I think it's at Target, actually. This is a game where you are trying to build one of the 7 wonders. And each wonder is divided up into like 5 different pieces. And so they're all placed face down. And as you're drafting and collecting cards, you might be collecting resources, which then you turn in the resources to flip over a wonder. But you're trying to build the wonder one step at a time. And once somebody has completed their wonder, that signifies the end of the game. And then you'll count up victory points. But within there's, you're trying to get science cards and collect science tokens, which will give you extra benefits and bonuses. And then there's a cat involved somewhere, and a pillar that's passed around, and you're collecting victory points. And there's also wars happening, and you're comparing your strength to the next player. And then each player also has like their own unique ability. It seems like it's complex, but all you do on your turn is you take either the left card, or right card, or a random one off the center pile. And that's it. That's all you do on your turn. And it keeps going around, and it plays very quickly. Within 20 minutes, you're done. But 6 players can play this game. And yeah, it's pretty fun. And so it does have an expansion, which will allow you to play. I think you can play more than 6 players, actually, if you add the expansion. It also gives you more wonders that you can play with and different unique abilities. And so check that one out. That one's called Seven Wonders Architects. The next one on this list is a party game that I consider a party game. Normally, board gamers hate party games, but this is a game that you can bring to a party and actually feels like a board game. This one is called Ready, Set, Bet. And this one I brought to a bar actually once, and it was okay received, that people were a little bit incredulous, but we ended up playing like 1 or 2 or even 3 games of this, and everyone was really excited. So what this is basically horse races with a roulette board attached to it. Is that right? That's essentially right? There's numbers all over the place, and you're betting on the odds of each horse being raced, essentially. And so at one end of the table, the horses are in real time racing along this track. And so there might be a person, or you can even use an app on your phone that is rolling dice, and you combine the 2 numbers and you move that horse. one at a time, and they're just slowly moving across. But eventually, it gets really hectic and heated because the people on the other side of the table are also trying to bet on the horses that are racing. And so you see 7 jump out to an early lead. You would think, oh, I'm going to bet on 7. But then 2 12s get rolled and it boosts up super hard. And then 5 goes, and then 7, and then 8. And then so it's constant uh, playing around and hectic and crazy. And everybody's throwing chips at the table and trying to get the best odds. Because you want to be the first. That'll get you the best odds at betting on each horse. But if that horse loses, you might lose money. So there's a risk reward type of thing. And then you play 4 rounds of this. So after each round, you're given a special ability essentially that will give you like a better chip that you can place on the board, or it might give you some special power or whatever. And then you play 4 rounds of this. There's a bunch of other spaces that you could throw your money at, and hopefully you win. But aside from that, that's essentially the game, that you're bidding, and whoever has the most money at the end of the game is the winner. So what I really like about this is it is very chaotic, but it's fun chaotic. Like, you are actually feeling like there's horses racing at the other end, and you're wanting to bet before everybody else takes your spot. And so that's one of my favorite games. That's called Ready, Set, Bet. This next one is a 2-player game, and I feel like this might miss for a lot of people just because it's World War II. But it is a fantastic game. So if you're willing to give it a try, this is a game called Blitzkrieg, World War II in under 20 minutes. And essentially you can play this, obviously, with just one other player, but you can play this within 20 minutes. And what I really love about this is that it's a bag builder. So you're taking units, placing them into a bag, and then randomly pulling them out, strategically placing them in these theaters, North America and Europe, so on and so forth. But you're placing your tiles out here that are trying to, essentially, they're 5 different tug of wars. And so you might be trying to win the North America theater, but somebody else is, or the other player is trying to take over Europe, and Europe has a lot more points. And so maybe you might be wasting a bunch of time over here. So you got to put tiles over here, and there's a bunch of bonuses on these spots. And so I want to put my tiles there so that I can get units in other places. And it's really cool because it's a race to get 20 points, 25 points. Whoever gets there first wins. The special powers that you get added to your bag. You can have a nuke, you can have Godzilla, you can have all kinds of cool stuff. That's a really cool 2-player game. If you're not down with the whole World War theme, there's always a lot of these duel games that are coming out. So you have Seven Wonders Duel, the Lord of the Rings Duel is really good. Splendor Duel, I hear is really good. Yeah, if you're looking for a 2-player game, I suggest Blitzkrieg. Second choice would be Lord of the Rings Duel. My number 5 games to start a collection with is going to be a deck building game. And so maybe you are familiar with Magic, maybe you're familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh or something like that, where you're building a deck outside of a game and bringing the deck into battle somebody. Deck builders, and deck building has been around for a while, actually, since Dominion. This is a game called Clank. And I love this game because it took deck building, matched it with dungeon crawl, I guess, because you are using your cards to play. So you have a small deck of 10 cards that are the same. Everybody starts with the same 10 cards. However, you're shuffling it and randomly drawing 10 or 5 different cards and the player next to you. So what they're going to do is different than what you're going to do. And eventually you're going to be adding more cards to that deck, different power-ups, different abilities. And the theming behind this is that you are all thieves that are going into a cavern or dragon's lair, even. Uh, and there's a top part and a bottom part. And as you go down, you're making clank, which is noise that irritates this dragon. And the more you make clank, the more attention you're getting from the dragon. And so you want to try to avoid that as much as possible, but as the game goes on, you're going to start drawing your health cubes out of a bag, and that's essentially the dragon is attacking you. And so as you take damage, if you take 10 damage, you're done. You're out. You're dead. And so you don't want to take 10 damage, so you want to get in there, get it in and out as quickly as possible, and then force the other players to kind of take the heat. But yeah, the main goal is to get down into the dragon's area, find a treasure, steal it, and get back out. But of course, even if you get back out early, you still might not have as many points as the next players who are risking it all. And so, so what I love about this is just it was one of my first deck building games, and I really enjoyed upgrading, adding more cards, buying little components and like backpacks, and you can find other different treasures. Another thing too is that they have a solo companion on your app or on the phone, and it's really good too. So I would even do that if you're a solo gamer. This is a really good game for solo play too. You should really check this one out, especially if you're into Magic and looking to get into board games. The next game on my list is a game called Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion. Now, this is a game you can find in Target too. I found it in Target. This is a game where essentially this is a dungeon crawler game. And a dungeon crawler, you are maybe you have a couple adventurers and you're going through a dungeon and you're fighting baddies along the way. And possibly at the end of this dungeon, there's a big bad, a boss guy that's trying to take you out. But what's cool about this is it's a miniature version. This is a miniaturized version because Gloomhaven is like this big with 20, 30, 40 pounds of game. Jaws of the Lion is more reasonable. It's about this size of game. And it takes exactly what Gloomhaven is, the big box game, and makes it into this portable size. And it's so good that it explains like the first 5 chapters, I think, it slowly introduces new rules to you. And so this game doesn't have less than 10 pages of instructions. But if you are interested at all in like Kingdom Death Monster, Oathsworn, or maybe you're interested in Gloomhaven or even Frosthaven, start with Jaws of the Lion because it's essentially the same exact game. What this game is, it is a dungeon crawler, and as you're playing the game, each round, you have your hand of cards, and you are picking 2 cards, and so it has 2 abilities, but you play 2 cards at a time, and so when you reveal, you're going to do the top part of one card and the bottom part of the other card, and it has some initiative in there and a bunch of other little rules, but essentially you'll be able to move and attack. You'll be able to do a bunch of different things with so many different abilities and special powers. And you have items that you can add to your stuff. And it's just, I played a lot of Gloomhaven, and having this kind of like beginner style small box game um, where it'll walk you through everything to teach you this game. It's super perfect. I'm blown away by the amount of detailed um, and catering to the beginner style crowd for this. Yeah, this is my number 7 game on the list, Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion. The next one on this list is a game I put it as drafting, but it does have a lot more involved. I wouldn't say it's too complicated. This is a game called Mille Fiori. So I put this under drafting. What you do in this game, it is a game about shipping goods in the Mediterranean. I don't know. But in this game, it's really pretty. It's a really pretty game. It's got these translucent pieces that you place on this board. And essentially, what you're doing is everyone is dealt, I think, 4 or 5 cards out of this giant deck. And so you're able to look at all the cards and pick a card and pass the rest to the left. It's called drafting. So once everybody has picked a card, you reveal your card and take the following action in turn order. If I'm the active player, I'll play my card first, and each card has a different color and a number associated with it. And there's 5 or 6 bunch of different areas on this board. So in the purple area with the keys, you play the card and place your token onto the next available space on that line. And what you're trying to do is get bonuses and score the most points. You'll score the most points if you can kind of trigger these bonuses. And so the purple track, if you're the first one to complete, I think 3 different numbers or maybe 4 different numbers, you'll get a bonus, which allows you to grab another card and play another card. And if you get 4, 5, I don't know, one more than that, then you get to place a token on the 20 space. And if so, it's a race to get that bonus there, because the first person to get it was 20 points. The next one is 15, and then 10, and then 5. And so you don't want to get 5 when you could get 20. And so you're racing to get that. You're also racing to get other things on the board. There's also at the bottom of the track, there's like set collection. There's in the orange area, you're trying to collect one of each color or one of each symbol, and that'll give you a bonus. So it's set collection with a bit of that drafting. And so uh yeah, this I feel like this game would definitely appeal to a lot of people if they gave it a chance. It does. The board looks busy. It looks like, whoa, this is a lot. A lot is going on, but really, it's super simple. Number 7 on my list, Mille Fiori. The next one on my list is a card game, and so this is a game called Scout. And what you're going to be doing in this game is you get a hand of cards, and you can shuffle them and rotate them however you want. But once you get them, you splay them out in your hand and you cannot rearrange them. And they're a bunch of numbers from 1 to 11, or you can flip them around and splay them out that way. But once you start the game or start the round, you can't flip them over. And so what you're trying to do is get straights and lines, because you're playing cards or sets of cards to beat other players. And so if I play a 1, somebody can beat that with any other number, right? Other than 1. They could also play 2 ones. So 2 ones beats 1 1. And then somebody has to beat 1 1 or 2 ones. And let's say somebody plays a 1 2 3, because that has 3 cards. Actually, I got to read those rules because I'm not entirely sure, but I know it's super simple. I swear, trust me. The one cool thing about this is that if you cannot beat somebody's hand, you must scout. And so scouting will allow you to remove a card from the left or right of that player's hand of cards. Or let's say they had 3 sevens. Well, you can remove either the left 7 or the right 7. And you might think, oh, they're both 7s. What does it matter? Well, on the other side of that 7 could be a 9 or an 8 or 6 or whatever number you need. Because when you take the 7, when you take a card, you can rotate it and slot it anywhere in your hand. And when you do that, that might connect sets. There might be a 7 and a 6, and you put a 7 and a 5, and you put a 6 in between. Well, now you can play the 5, 6, 7. And it sounds dumb. It sounds like, who cares? It's just numbers. It's a bunch of numbers everywhere. But it really is interesting once you get playing. You play like 4. The amount of rounds you play is the number of players. at the table. I think you could play 5 players even. But then whoever has the most money at the end of the game wins. And so you're trying to get out first because all your cards in your hand that stay in your hand at the end of the round are negative points, and so you don't want to go out with a bunch of cards in your hand. So that's my number 7 game. I think it's really easy. It's easy to find for sure. I found one at Target. So check that one out. That is Scout. My number 9 game is probably not going to show up on anybody else's list that is similar to this. This is a game that I just threw on there because of the toy factor. This game is called Dice Forge. I think this is a really cool game because everybody loves dice. Everybody loves dice. Everybody loves rolling dice and getting stuff. Not only that, they're customizable dice. So as you're playing the game, you're ripping off die faces and putting upgraded die faces on there. But essentially what this game is yeah, dice rolling. But you have a board that you're trying to purchase cards from. And so your dice have gold on them. They have like these 2 unique gems with like orange and blue. And then the bottom are your victory points. I think that's it. And so you're trying to gain gold because gold will allow you to buy more die faces. And when it's your turn, you can purchase die faces as long as you have money to spend. And you can buy as many as you like. And then, so you can either buy die faces or you can buy cards. And so the cards all cost the unique gems, the orange or blue gems. And you have a pawn that gets moved to these locations. And so when you buy a card, you're going to move your pawn to that location. And you're going to take that card, add it to your tableau. It might give you victory points. It might give you extra rolls. It might give you the special powers. This one is it's just fun to play. And I really want to play it some more. But this is a game called Dice Forge. My number 10 game is a small box game, actually. This is a game called Abyss. Actually, it's called Conspiracy Abyss Universe. So on your turn, what you're going to do is draw from a stack of cards. And you can either take 1, 2, or 3. And once you pick, you have to commit to taking all those cards. And you're going to look at the cards and you're going to add 1 to your tableau and discard the other 2 face up for the other players to take. So you might be helping other players by giving them better options. So if you draw 1 card, I mean, you're stuck with that card. You got to place it into your tableau. At the bottom right is going to be like a different effect and ability for that card. So you might get pearls. The person with the most pearls at the end of the game gets a 5 extra points. Yeah, this is a really good 2-player game too, because it's so compact and small, and you can bring it to a coffee shop or wherever you want to go. just wherever you want to go. Coffee shop, hair salon, wherever. Oh man. Okay. So yeah, that's Conspiracy Abyss. I don't actually own this one. Crazy. I loved it so much though. I need to go out and purchase a copy. I think it's only $20 on Amazon right now. Go check it out. That's my 10th one, Conspiracy Abyss. And finally, I'm going to throw this out there because I feel like it needs to be on here. I think it needs more recognition. This is a co-op game. And this reason why is because everybody loves Pandemic, and Pandemic's been huge beginner game for a long time. This is a game called Atlantis Rising. This game is so good, especially with the upgrade, especially with the $100 upgraded components. Now, you don't have to get the upgraded components, but there's some nice components out there for this game. What's happening in this game is there's Atlantis. And we all know the story of Atlantis at the bottom of the sea. This is before Atlantis fell into the ocean. And you're trying to work together with your compatriots to teleport Atlantis out of there before it gets flooded. And so what's happening is you have Atlantis in the center. Yeah, and projecting out from the center are 6 or 5 different, I think it's 6 peninsulas. Yeah, because there's 3 of different ones. So, and what you're trying to do is you're allocating your workers to these different spots on the peninsula. And each spot on this peninsula that's segregated by, it looks like a puzzle piece almost. It's got like 5 different sections of the peninsula. And so each section has a better and better action associated with it the further out towards the ocean that you get. However, the closer you are to the sea, the more risk you have of drowning and losing your guys. And something might happen where you remove pieces of the peninsula and they're falling into the ocean, right? You're trying to accumulate resources, bring them back to Atlantis so that you can build certain parts of the teleporter. You also have like your own unique player abilities. So I might be good at collecting resources. Another person might be good at blocking off the ocean. And so you're all working together with your different unique abilities. But what this game does is it has a good, what do you want to call it? Like a curve of excitement, because as the game goes on, the tension gets more and more and you're not sure if you're going to win. And you feel like cheating at the end because, oh, that dice, I needed that dice to roll a 3 and it rolled a 2 and dang it. and so anyway, that's Atlantis Rising. It's a really good game. That's my 11th game to start a collection with. That's my last one that I have. Yeah, that's 11 games. Check them out. Down below should be an affiliate link or at least somewhere to find the game. But yeah, if you like this content and you want to see more of it, go ahead and hit subscribe, hit like, do all the things, whatever you want to do. I'm going to be streaming every Monday from now on. I don't know what I'm going to be doing exactly. I've done unboxings. I hear like playing some solo games, or I might even have some members on. So if you're interested in any of that, be on the lookout for that. We also have our Christmas party coming up at the end of the month. Hopefully I can get this video out before then. Otherwise, I'm going to look foolish. Anyway, missing component. Love you guys.